Well, good morning, Sigma race fans. We come at you live here tonight from Hill Raceway. And I'm having technical difficulties already. Woo, what the heck? Here we go. And we're going to get through the starting lineup here tonight for heat number 1 of the race from Thunderhill Speedway here. On the front row, you've got Brandon Butler II and Stephen Miller, followed by newcomer Gabe McDuffie there in the number 03 and Craig Popcris, Violet Void and Timothy Buchanan, T.G. Castlenut or Todd G. Castlenut starting in the midfield here with Chase Kovacic alongside of him, Ace Vaden and Taylor Cording, and Jamie McMurphy alongside Alex Sanvital, Billy Lovejoy and Wormy Wormington, Bucky Campbell and Tyler McCarroll, followed by Kyle Ottawa at the back of the field. This heat race is going to go by pretty quickly at 50 laps total. So qualifying was very vital here. Qualify well for your heat, you're going to have to come through in the top 4 here to make it into the main event. So we'll keep our focus primarily here at the top 4. Brandon Butler leads, Gabe McDuffie and Stephen Miller with Violet Void now cracking past Craig Popcris there for 4th. Lap traffic may very well become a factor in this short 50-lap sprint. Know for a fact that in the main event, 100 laps later here tonight, it'll be a barn brawler. But as of right now, Violet Void looking to hold that last transfer spot. She's trying to get around Craig Popcris there for 4th. But Popcris not letting her get by, using that outside line to his advantage here. And it looks like he's going to blow around the outside of the 00. And now you've got a new transfer driver at the moment. A little bit further back, you've got T.G. Castlenut and Timothy Buchanan trying to make up some room here to get to the top 4. Top 10 in points are already locked into the main event here tonight, so we're taking 4 from Heat 1 and 4 from Heat 2. Because they're pit stalls, there's only 18 available pit stalls at this short track. It's like taking a step back to your local grassroots racing here. Sigma ARCA going to some of the shorter tracks that a national series could justify running. And Sigma ARCA putting on a great show here tonight. Well, winning this race doesn't do you much other than bragging rights. And Gabe McDuffie putting on a fight here with Brandon Butler for the lead. I know for a fact Stephen Miller's up there in the points. He almost qualified in on points, but was just short of getting into the top 10. So that would hurt harder here tonight if he gets knocked out. He'll drop very deep in the points. Sitting 3rd right now, so not too bad. Sitting pretty solid. Well, let us bounce from the back of the field here and get a rundown on who's running where. Tyler McCarroll, new to the series, joined and ran the last race out. Obviously, this is going to be a hard pill to swallow if he can't qualify for the main event here tonight. This looks like barring anything extreme, he's probably not going to make it here. But it's on to the next one, obviously. There's going to be fields of 42 going forward, and he's going to be locked into every ARCA main event at those tracks with 42 plus. Kyle Ottawa, he's a full-time runner. He's not new to the series. This is Just been a rough season for that 80 Al Bunch Incorporated car, and continuing to add to the struggles there. Wormy Wormington has been pretty solid week in, week out. This might be one of the outliers for not as great of a run as we've seen out of him. Alex Sanvital in the number 24 there. He's been pretty solid, keeping on track with the number 24 team as well, but yet again, another rough night here. Bucky Campbell, this is his first career start in Sigma ARCA competition. Running right there behind Taylor Cording in the 54 and Billy Lovejoy just a little bit further ahead. Maybe with some luck he could get some spots and maybe get closer to the top 4, but that's going to be hard to do too. And then you've got Jamie McMurphy in 10th, Ace Vaden in 9th, Chase Kovacic, and then we're back up to the front of the field where we've been from the start. TG Castlenut right there behind the 34 of Buchanan. Violet Void trying to find a way to get around the 13 again, as we're 20 laps in, 30 laps to go. Yeah, I'm not forecasting that lap traffic's going to factor into this 50-lap heat race. As you can see, there's a long line of empty space between the first to last place, so they're doing pretty well here to keep on track at the back of the field even. It definitely has kind of turned into a follow the leader affair here. Gabe McDuffie was showing a little bit of strength there that I thought he was going to try to make a move on the leader. But has since petered out a little bit, not able to find the opening. Here we go, another good run from Gabe McDuffie. As you see, 43 goes way high there. If Gabe McDuffie gets around the 43, that could trap the 43 on the outside and drop like a rock. So yep, top 4 will transfer to the main event here tonight. It's kind of a wild one. We don't normally have this small of a track hosting races in the Sigma ARCA series. And next week will be kind of on to more normalcy as the short track. Oh, and there we go, a lead change happening right there as Gabe McDuffie gets alongside Brandon Butler. They're going to go side by side. This could open the window for someone in 4th if that 43 gets stuck in the slow lane here, that he drops backwards. Violet Void might be licking her chops here, hoping that 43 falls backwards. I haven't seen any mechanical failures. Everyone's been running very clean, orderly. It's been a great race so far. A lot of follow the leader. We saw some passing in the midfield after the start of the race, but they've since filed into single file running. Well, and all of a sudden your leader's starting to grow a bit of a gap there on Gabe McDuffie, Stephen Miller, and Craig Popchris. Gabe McDuffie actually turned the fastest lap at one point here at the 15.019. Not quite in the 14s, but really, really close to a 14-second lap here around this short track. We'll have to keep an eye on the lap times in the next race, the next heat, and even the main event as to whether anyone's going to get or eclipse the 14-second bracket around the track here. And a little bit more separation at the front of the field here, as you can see McDuffie and Miller starting to stretch it out on Popchris. So we're going to have to keep our eyes on the transfer spot here. It's either going to be Craig Popchris or Violet Void. Maybe someone else if things really get wild and crazy. I'm definitely liking what I'm seeing here out of Violet Void. She turned the faster lap there to Craig Popchris by about 1/10. That time she was slower by 2/10 though. So kind of an ebb and flow going right there. You know, catching up's one thing, but passing a whole different ballpark. As there's only 3 laps to go left in this heat, whoa, she goes way high there trying to do something a little different. I don't know if it's going to help or hurt her. As you can see, she lost a big gap there for a moment. But if she buckles down here, she might be able to capitalize on that wild move she just made. .49 of 50, a white flag will wave next time by. Is Violet Void going to put the bumper to the 13 to make business happen? 03 going for the lead. We might have... Well, not quite. He has settled back into second. Your top 4 are transferring into the main event. It's going to be Brandon Butler the second, Gabe McDuffie, Stephen Miller, and the 13 of Craig Popchris. Unfortunately, just missing it here tonight is Violet Void, Timothy Buchanan, Todd G. Castlenut, Chase Kovacic, Ace Vaden, Jamie McMurphy, Billy Lovejoy, Taylor Cording, Bucky Campbell, Alex Sanvital, Wormy Wormington, Kyle Ottawa, and the 96 there of Tyler McCarroll. But rest assured, folks, based on the heats, I am going to credit people for points finished in the race. So you're not going to be losing too many points. If you finished in the top 5, if you finished 5th, obviously, you'd get 10th place points out of it, or actually take that back, 19th and so on. So it would basically be as if the top 18 in the main event, and then we'll kind of fill in the points after that based on the highest finishers through the heats, so that people still get some points scored here tonight through the race that they didn't make it to the main event. So brief intermission here, folks, as we get things squared away to start the next one. So just hold tight and enjoy the music while I get it all set up.
Touch all your seatbelts, connect, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it. Favor, just touch all your seatbelts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it.
Alrighty, folks, time for heat number 2 here tonight from Hill Raceway. And on the front row, you've got Astro Atlas and Sophie Harwick. So a female front row there between the two of them. And then you got Tasha Wright in third. So 3 of them on the front row. That's impressive in its own. And you got Pedro Sales qualified 4th. That should be his first start in the Sigma ARCA series. Then you've got Joseph Hayes and Cassie Perkins. That's 4th female in the field. Drew Clue and Matthew Hubert. Heen Clutchoke and Sebastian Galloway Jr. Newcomers Kyle Chestnut and Marvin Werner. Chasey Plays and Shy Turtle. Chris Jaramillo is going to have to come from deep here. He won his series debut, but a little bit of turmoil there for the O2s. He's starting deep in the field. Dylan Smith and Jeff Bolton rounding out the field here tonight. And the green flag waving already. We're rolling here for heat number 2. Astro Atlas gets off to the early lead as you've got Tasha Wright and Sophie Harwick in third. It's a female top 3. Pedro Sales in 4th, and he's just going to have to hold on to that position for the rest of this heat, because that'll get him into the main event here tonight. Joseph Hayes and Cassie Perkins right there behind him. As they're still pretty much double file back behind fourth place. You've got a lot of spots still being settled here. It's just unfortunate for some folks making their series debut at a track this tough and a field this small that, oh shoot, the 09 of Shy Turtles on pit road after lap 2. I don't see anything on here suggesting what the problem was. Must be something terminal with the 09, so that's going to end his day right there. Yeah, right out of the gate. He has to get out of the line. Goes way high here. He's already got something wrong with the car. Down pit road he goes, so. And that's where he still sits. Well, new 5th place driver, Cassie Perkins, as she got by Joseph Hayes there. Your top 3 not all settled there. It looks like Tasha Wright trying to go for the lead. Gets a bit of a block there out of Astro Atlas. But the battle's on as Tasha still fighting side by side with the 48-4 position here. Tough track to pass at. We saw it in heat number 1, and I think we're seeing it here again in heat 2. That you can get alongside of them, but making it counts where it's a little harder to pull off. What it has happened to do is bunch up the top 5 here as they're all within a blanket of each other. 35 of Cassie Perkins wants to make it an all-female 4 transferring to the main event. That would be a stat in its own there. But I imagine she's going to have a hard time getting around Pedro Sales, who just wants to hold on to that 4th spot until lap 50. First heat was very calm, very organized. Kind of makes you wonder if the second heat's going to be wild and crazy. Like in the Daytona duels for real life NASCAR, you usually have the calm one and then you have the crazy one. Astro Atlas still holding on, but for how long is the question. That 90 looks stout. Tasha's already been fully transitioned up to Cup Series. This is more of a formality to get her ARCA career kind of complete with a nice ribbon on top. She wanted to finish out the ARCA season that she started. And as she is running full-time Cup right now, this is not usually accepted upon the rules, but there was unique circumstances to get her graduated up into Cup. So we are allowing her to finish out her ARCA career, her ARCA season, because she won't be back down in ARCA anymore with her graduation up to Cup. And that has gotten things a little dicey here for the top 4, as now the 21 of Sophie Harwick makes a pass on the outside. That's stout. You don't see very many passes being made around the outside. Tasha gets overhauled there. And now the 35 knocking on the door with Pedro Sales, just trying to find the right line to run right here. Might be going on the outside, might be staying on the low side here. This is already starting to look like the crazy one. We didn't see this kind of drama at the front of the field in the first one. They pretty much followed single file all the way to the finish. And Cassie Perkins knocking on the door. Tasha now could be at risk of getting knocked out if she doesn't gather it up here. Ooh, Pedro Sales had a little bit of a hiccup there in the turn, allowing the 35 of Cassie Perkins to get in there alongside of him. He's got the clear track, though. It's going to force Cassie Perkins to pretty much make a perfect lap here on that inside. And it looks like things are going to settle back down with Pedro Sales back into fourth with a bit of a cushion. Definitely a scary moment there for your transfer spot in one of those two drivers, probably really hoping to make it to the main event here tonight. Have not seen a lot of movement through the field. A lot of it kind of follows in line where you qualified at. Tasha trying to resurge a comeback here as she gets by Sophie Harwick for second. That was almost the same move that Pedro Sales made earlier that shuffled him backwards, trying to get alongside the 90 car. Looks like maybe he's going to prevail and actually rise above it this time, as he didn't make the mistake, and he's still fighting to get around the 90. That would give him one bigger cushion to stay out of losing the transfer spot if he gets by one car here. Oh, and that was it again. You saw it. He kind of got uneasy in the corner there. Trying to pass on the outside is tough. And here comes the 84. Joseph Hayes in the 84 there wants to get in. Oh, he got really loose there on the turn. And that gave Cassie Perkins a chance to jump again. We're seeing some ARCA-esque mistakes made in the corners here tonight. Oh, and here we go. Battle for the lead as the 21 of Sophie Harwick on the inside of the 48 of Atlas. There we go, the 0. Pedro might actually finally have it. Charging around the outside of the 90. He's got it. He's up to third. Nice cushion, giving him a little less stress to make it into the main event now. Tasha not letting him get too far away. I saw that 16 car. There's a bit of a brake check there. Maybe some ARCA brakes going on. 16. Yeah, wow, that was, could have been worse. No harm, no foul, but it's going to hold up that outside line a little bit. Well, now we're down to just 11. Make that 10 laps to go now. Heat number 2. And then we'll have our 18-car main field all set for the 100-lapper here tonight. Uh-oh, Tasha goes around the outside of the zero there. Sales slowed up a little bit. I don't know what's going on. Maybe starting to use up those tires just a little bit. 50 laps gives us almost a good enough window for these heats as to see some tire degradation. 8 laps to go. Tasha and Pedro Sales currently hold that last transfer spot as they swap it here. The 16 kind of made a rebound. As you can see, the 16 of Heen Clutchoke. He's within throwing distance of the top 4. Whoa, there's some full contact there. The 09, the 0 and the 90, I think, got into each other there. That's going to mean Pedro Sales needs to use that bumper himself to keep his 4th position. 5 laps to go. The outside, no! Pedro Sales gets dropped back to 5th there. Joseph Hayes makes a move around the outside. And he closes the door. That's a new transfer spot driver right there as it bumps Pedro Sales out by smallest of margins. Pedro's not done though. He's alongside the 84. We've got a battle brewing and it's going to go down to the wire. The 84 and the 0 side by side down the finish line. It would have been the 84 if that was the checkered flag. But luckily for both of them, it's not. No way. The 84 closing away. Starting to stretch it out now. The 0 dropping way back. Kind of makes you wonder if Pedro really did use up his tires there. White flag waving. It's going to be 1 lap to go. We definitely did have the wild card heat race here. The second heat was the crazy one. 84 gets a little shuffled there, but I think he's going to be smooth sailing as Joseph Hayes is your last transfer. With the trio of gals, you got Tasha Wright. Oh, what was that all about? 84 just brake checked the rest of the field there. Maybe a little bit of beef on the end of the 84 or something. I don't know. That was unusual. But there you have it, folks. That was a wild and crazy heat race. And we now know our main starters for tonight's 100 lap event. Doesn't look like Shy Turtle ever made it back out. That car didn't even get to finish more than 2 laps. Shouldn't take too long, folks. We'll get right back and rolling for the 100 lap main event here shortly. Just hold tight and we'll get right back to it.
touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it. Favor, just touch all your seatbelts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it.
Alrighty, folks, the time we've all been waiting for, the main event here from Thunder Hill Raceway. 100 laps on the docket here with 18 of the best Sigma ARCA drivers then to make it into the main event here tonight. Top 10 in points, and 8 drivers qualified in through the heat races. And so, starting on the front row, you've got Gabe McDuffie and Santi Messi. Kind of a surprising front row twist there. McDuffie, this is his first career start, so starting strong for Sigma ARCA. Behind that, you've got Ralph Oberstadt, who's in a nail-biter of a battle between well, his name is Ralph Oberstadt, between Jonah Burridge and Finley Herwig. So, getting a good start on the rest of his competitors here tonight alongside Kaylee Sheets. Jonah Burridge, your points leader, alongside Campbell Marsh. A couple drivers that made it through the heat races, Astro Atlas and Craig Popkris. Craig Bush and Finley Herwig. Casey Klein, last race's winner with Joseph Hayes. Ryan White and Brandon Butler the second. Tasha Wright and Sophie Harwick, with Carlos Eduardo and Stephen Miller at the back of the field here. 100 laps, it's going to be about 30 minutes long. This race will go pretty quickly here. And qualifying definitely was key. Green flag waves, we're off and rolling here. Oh, and they go 3 wide. Wow, that actually upset the apple cart there for Campbell Marsh. 3 wide, that's an aggressive move out of the 13, and actually maybe slightly illegal. You're not allowed to pass before the start-finish line on the inside like that. Yeah, they're showing a black flag to some driver. Wow, why did Finley Herwig get the black flag? Ouch. Is it because... Yeah, he passed on the... Oh, wow. Yeah, let's watch Finley Herwig's lap here. He broke down on the inside. That's illegal. Illegal move because you're not allowed to go switch lines. He switched lines before the start-finish line even there, and is going to have to pay a hefty price, as that's going to put him all the way back to 18th and probably fall some laps down. Well, after all the craziness shook out, it looks like Santi Messi, your leader. Kaylee Sheets, who has been a short track specialist, looking to move up to second here. That drops Gabe McDuffie to third. Ralph Oberstadt in fourth. Yeah, they're penalizing him pretty hard for that, the illegal move on the inside. It seems like they're holding him for quite a while there. They're waving the flag. He's going to be able to leave pit road, it looks like. But the damage is already done as they're on lap 8. He's 6 laps down here tonight. Santi Messi, your leader. That is a Cording Brothers Motorsport number 5. Chevrolet at the front of the field. Kaylee Sheets looking to try and take the lead away here. Knocking on the door. Yeah, definitely a wild start to the race. There's a lot of. I'm kind of surprised that the 13 of Popcris didn't get nailed for an illegal pass on the inside there, but they did nab the 68 of Finley Herwig for getting on the inside line where he started on the outside line. Even real life NASCAR, it's frowned upon. They'll usually send you to the pits for making a move too early. It's kind of what's tough about this track. The start, they give you the green flag on the back stretch, and it's kind of hard for the drivers to stay in line. They need to get the advantage and get the bounce before anyone else drives away from them. It's where the starts are key, but at the same time, you got to do it without making a mistake. Santi Messi looking stout here. Tasha right at the back of the field. Stephen Miller running in 16th. 15 of Eduardo running 15th. That would be Brandon Butler the second, Sophie Harwick, Joseph Hayes, and Ryan White running in 11th. Casey Klein, Astro Atlas, Bucky Campbell, Craig Bush, and Jonah Burridge running in 6th. The 13 of Craig Popcris, the 78 of Ralph Oberstadt. Oberstadt, a short track specialist as well. We've got quite a few of those short track special drivers, and they're both running in the top 5 with Sophie, or the 66 of Kaylee Sheets and the 78 of Ralph Oberstadt. I'm impressed, though, for the series debut out of Gabe McDuffie running in 3rd with the number 03 Jack Daniels entry. Well, Santi Messi starting to spread the gap a little bit as driving away from Kaylee Sheets with that lead. We're already a quarter of the way through the race, 25 laps. Yeah, it looks like, unfortunately for Finley Herwig, Sigma officials have not let him leave pit road still. So, the illegal black flag pass. Maybe they actually had some more wrong with the car there, but yeah, not coming back out. Looks to be about 30 laps down now. Everything still pretty calm and collected here in the main event. No big crazies happening so far. Follow the leader from nose to tail. Tasha Wright holding up the end of the field in 17th. Your leader, they're both running about comparable times, 15.0 to a 15.0. Goes to show you that all of them, they're not making any mistakes. They're driving as stout as they can. Astro Atlas made it through the the heats here today to make it into the main, so she's holding solidly in ninth at the moment. All of your heat transfer drivers, if we skim from the top of the field here, you had the 03 of Gabe McDuffie make it through his heat race, heat number 1. Followed by the 13 of Craig Popkris, who made it through heat number 1 as well. Astro Atlas, who made it through heat number 2. And then the 84 of Joseph Hayes also making it through heat number 2. Then you had the 21 of Sophie Harwick, heat number 2. Brandon Butler the second, heat number 1. 83 of Stephen Miller, heat number 1. And the 90 of Tasha Wright, heat number 2. And now approaching halfway as we're 48 laps into this one. Santi Messi got the lead and has not looked back since. Based on the top 3 right now, you would have a new winner this season out of anyone in the top 3. First driver with what would be a repeat or an extra win on the season be the 78 of Ralph Oberstadt, who's already won before in 2025. And I wouldn't count him out, as he is a short track specialist. He could pick them off one by one once the tires start falling off. We really did start seeing in heat number 2 at about lap 50. That's when the number 0 of Pedro Sales had dropped way off. Tires started to go away on him. So we're on lap 52. This is where things will start getting interesting. And just as I say that, the 5 gets way out of line on the track. His lap times are going to start suffering, I feel. Yeah, he just dropped to 15.4. He had turned to 15.0, so the tire fall off. It's hitting hard here. 66 of Kaylee Sheets might be able to execute here. Pretty much all of Kaylee Sheets' wins have come on short tracks just like this one. You go back to your 2024 campaign where she had a couple wins on the season. Kaylee Sheets, her career has been made off of winning at short tracks. Maybe it was 2023. She had one win last year to Super Speedway. So I guess I gotta go back. Huh. Weird. Could have swore she ended up winning at Evergreen, Oh, yeah, there it is. Evergreen and then Portland. Oh, it was the Northwest Swing. So she's got one win on a short track. It's still good enough, I feel like, to give her that short track specialist claim that I was giving her. Fastest lap does belong to your leader of this race, Santi Messi. He actually turned to 14.874. I was talking about that we would have to wait and see probably to the main event with our fastest cars to actually figure out who was going to get into that 14-second bracket. And we saw it here in the main event with Santi Messi, a 14.874. And actually a few drivers, actually 10 drivers. No, the entire field in the 14-second bracket. Everyone even down to 17th fastest lap. The 18 of Craig Bush turned a 14.973. We're definitely starting to see that degradation, though, as Santi Messi's lap times are looking more in line with 15.2. Kaylee Sheets, 15.2. Even Tasha at the back of the field with 15.2. So they're all kind of degrading at a equal pace, and hence the reason why we still see them running pretty much single file all the way around the field. Yeah, our points leader, Jonah Burridge, in the 6th position there, not looking too shabby. That's going to keep him in that points lead. Ralph Oberstadt, however, is going to make up some points on the 45. The big heartbreaker is definitely going to be Finley Herwig, who had a race here tonight to claim if he wanted to get some more points on the two leaders. Obviously, he was up to 2nd in the points, but now might drop back to about 3rd with Ralph Oberstadt and Jonah Burridge really having a decent run here tonight. Yeah, he only had 3 points over Ralph Oberstadt, and he was 15 points behind Jonah Burridge. That's going to start to look more like a 30-point deficit that he's going to have to surmount. Ryan White's 4th in the points, 76 points out of the lead, and Santi Messi, your race leader right now, 5th in the points, 82 points out. Well, he's going to try to knock into that 82-point deficit a little bit here and maybe get it down to about 70 points, I would imagine, would be my guesstimate. But you can't give him the win just yet. Kaylee Sheets, she knows how to get around these short tracks, just as Ralph Oberstadt. And maybe we need to start throwing Gabe McDuffie in as a short tracker. Not 100% certain on his racing background, but it seems to have helped him here tonight in figuring out this very tight short track. you go. There's a little bit of struggle there out of the 5 car as Kaylee knocking on the door. Another move being made here. The 66 looking stout. It looks like she's got the speed, while Santi's got a bit of a struggle there. Well, looking ahead on the schedule, obviously this was a short track. We've got Watkins Glen next on the schedule, so we're going to be looking out for our road course ringers. Full 42 car field, obviously, for that race, and a lot of the other races left to come. You got Daytona, which will be interesting with these ARCA cars. You know, talk about ARCA brakes at Daytona. That could be a treacherous one for a lot of drivers trying to make up points and survive. That's going to be the key for Daytona. New Hampshire, Michigan, and Rockingham. We don't have our next short track until race number 14 on May 29th, which falls on another holiday. So we had our short track here tonight on Easter weekend. Happy Easter, everyone, by the way. And then the next one will be Memorial Day weekend for Wiscasset in Maine. But then that brings us to the nitty-gritty of the summer stretch of short tracks. The summer short track showdown, I guess you could call it, where we go to Wiscasset, Five Flags, Evergreen, Berlin Raceway, and then we cap it off with the Chili Bowl, a dirt track race for the ARCA cars. All of those races happening from May 29th to mid-June. And then the ARCA series will share a schedule with all 4 Sigma Racing series as we go to the New York Street Circuit. And that race week will be 4th of July weekend. So July 1st, the Bridge to Cup series. The Cup Series will race on July 3rd. ARCA and Trucks, July 1st and 3rd. So, while I'm rambling on about the schedule, we got a battle happening here with just about 10 laps to go. Kaylee Sheets trying to get the lead away in the closing laps of this one. She's side by side with Santi Messi. Messi closes the door for now, but I don't think he's out of the woods quite yet. Nine laps remain. Are we going to see a surprise shakeup at the front of the field here? Kaylee Sheets looking stout. It's a battle between Chevys. You got Chevy, Dodge, and Toyota, followed by, I want to say, another Dodge. So Chevy's got the upper hand here tonight from Texas. 6 laps to go. It's definitely going to be a night some want to forget. There's a few people that are going to be joyed with their series debut, and ultimately it wasn't the most exciting of formats. The racing kind of struggled a little bit behind, but that's to be expected on a lot of your short tracks like this. I mean, you go to your local grassroots racing, sometimes it just is this. You got, if you don't have a wreck or any cautions to really break up the monotony. Oh no, the 78 has a mechanical failure here on lap 95. Fuel leak for Ralph Oberstadt. So the 68 and the 78 both going to get credited with 17th and 18th here tonight. That's brutal. This moves Jonah Burridge up to 5th. And he's going to capitalize on just about as much points as he can get on his two competitors. Believe it or not, I think Finley Herwig might just hang on to 2nd in the points with Ralph Oberstadt dropping out here tonight. It just means that the 45 of Jonah Burridge is only going to grow that points lead by a little bit more. So by the end of it here tonight, that was really the only thing that could have helped Finley Herwig, was one of his competitors having a mechanical failure. And it's exactly what happened. White flag for Santi Messi, one more lap to go. Kaylee Sheets had a bit of a moment there where it looked like she could have got by him. But unfortunately for her, not going to be enough, as the number 5 secures his first victory here in 2025 for Cording Brothers Motorsports. Kaylee Sheets, and then Gabe McDuffie coming home 3rd. Craig Popkris 4th. Jonah Burridge, Craig Bush, Campbell Marsh, Astro Atlas with the top 10. Casey Klein and Ryan White also in the top 10. Joseph Hayes, Sophie Harwick, Brandon Butler, Carlos Eduardo, Stephen Miller, and Tasha Wright rounding out the rest of the drivers left running here at the end. Well, congratulations to Santi Messi, fastest lap in the race, led almost every lap, dominant performance from that Cording Brothers Motorsport entry. And that, folks, is a wrap here for tonight. Today, it's not nighttime, I guess. It's only midday for most. Happy Easter to those that celebrate. I know it's I mean, it's a loaded holiday to celebrate for some, but I guess just remind yourself that it's astral on the astro calendar. It's not really completely religious, so I guess it is what it is. And hopefully all enjoyed the race here tonight. Enjoy whatever festivities you may or may not be celebrating, and hopefully we'll see you on the next one. This was a great ARCA experience for a lot of folks joining into the server, so y'all got to watch your cars make laps around the track. I promise you the next race will be even better, as you'll be locked into the field for the main event. 42 cars. We've got 42 cars locked in. I have it so all the newcomers are guaranteed to start each week. And yeah, so maybe now is the time where you can start building up a bit of a points barrier, so that by the next time we come to one of these short tracks, you'll actually be locked in on the top 10 in points. And yeah, you're going to have about a 10 race stretch before that next short track rears its ugly head that you'll need points to survive. So thanks again, everyone. I know there's going to be at least one more stream here tonight. I'm going to try to do that cup race later this evening probably, or depend on how my schedule looks, maybe sooner. So, but otherwise, stay safe out there. Have a great Sunday, and I'll see you on the next one. This is Jakester signing out.